days are gone. You fool me at the bottom line, I lie afraid. Are we in the same place? Falling. I'll be the wake-up call, I'll be the siren.
motion. A couple milli now, I'm causing a commotion. I've been coasting, hear my name around the world like an explosion.
Rise up, rise up. We are the apocalypse, and a pill that keeps us floating. As we fly above the stars, the night won't scare us falling. So rise up. We're too great to be landed. Rise up. We're too great to be standing.
They ain't never gonna stop us, flying by them like choppers. Better tuck those wrists, cold blood in my fists, we fire starters. Let's go. One out of a million will reach those heights. Always had a feeling that I won't deny that work. Never been tossed. Look at my eyes, I'm on the rocks. Rise.
Heading down Cali, driving round with my baby. Tough drops and raindrops, motion got me all faded. My heart got me going all crazy, and I won't be walking away. Yeah, New York in the sunshine, I'm a fool, yeah. I got love blind and ooh, yeah. Got my heart out and it's covered in gold, like moonlight over Hollywood, and it's cool, yeah, 'cause you know it's good, oh baby. I'll never get old.
Headset. There we go. Alright. Hello everyone, I'm Jwigs and welcome to the 12th Faction Challenge, where I will be taking a look at the enemy items you have submitted. Now, with changes coming into enemies, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity. I guess this is a way you're creating the enemy classes, you're creating the items that they'll be using, and it was a whole lot of fun. Right. Am I still muted now? Can you all hear me? There we go. I think that's a lot better. I think I'm a little bit loud. I'm going to bring myself down a little. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So today, I have gone through all of your submissions already. I had made them look nice and pretty using my presentation software. So here we go. We have the 12th Faction Challenge, which is the enemy items. All right. All right. First things first, judging. Let me quickly pull up my streamer notes, my presenter notes here on this side so I know what I'm talking about. Judging, oh yes, I don't have any notes for this. However, judging, basically, I will be giving out different stars, different, the gold tiers, and I will be, basically, for every gold tier, you're going to get rewards for it, and I'll talk about the rewards in a bit. Next thing is some things I noticed. Firstly, there were a number, well, one of you, me but Faith, was just recoloring stuff. And while recoloring stuff is okay, it's not too hard to do. If I wanted to recolor stuff, I could easily do it as well. So I'll probably gloss over these really quickly and not go into as much detail on them as much. Right, so now rewards. Okay, so you may notice I have 2 little gold tiers here. I will be giving none, 1 or 2 little gold tiers based on, how I feel it is. 2 being like, it's amazing, 1 being, it's pretty good, and then none being, it didn't make the cut. There won't be any top 6, there won't be any top 3, I'll just be giving out these. And based on the number that you accumulate throughout this, you will be getting epic weapons. You'll be getting epic weapons, and based on the balance, from what I've seen, I've already done the math, I've already calculated it all. It's technically for every gold tier that you get half of an epic weapon. And if there's something left over, we just give it a rare weapon, which there is something left over. I mean, just hints to that. Right. So, I've kind of broken these up into their general categories just to make it easier for us to see and compare things, because for some of them, I really encouraged you to, like for Flotrons, for Drifters, if one faction puts stuff up, go ahead and put stuff up to challenge and compete with it, and it gives me lots of ideas. So, we're going to start off with the first category. We're going to start off with the first category of Flotrons. And for Flotrons, to open us up, we are going to take a look at the first one by the Strike Faction by Eye of Cthulhu. We have these really cool looking ones. These look very sci-fi. These look super futuristic. I like the way it looks. Not completely what I was going for. And what I was thinking when I was thinking Dark Order, this is like super, super high-tech sci-fi. Absolutely love it though, so I'm giving this a gold one. Next one, we're going to look at humans and the Prime faction. These ones are also really nice. I like how, what I was thinking is more like, more linear, more cube, not exactly cubey, but more like lines and straight like cuts. And this kind of captures that. In fact, it will look very similar to the stuff that I have made. I've already done the Flotrons, Drifters, and Slammerons. After I took a look at all of yours, I went ahead and took some designs. I didn't take your designs, but I took a lot of inspiration from what you have created. So what you have created has definitely helped me a whole lot. So this one, I'm also giving gold tier. And I like it. It's very nice. It's simple. It's got that. I really like the complex one with the nice sharp lines. Next one is by the Nova faction. This one was just way too blocky for my taste. It was too cubey. Not exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah, I was thinking of lines. I should have been more specific, I guess. These could work actually very well for like fuel tanks and stuff. They have that very cylindrical feel to them. I did not get a gold tier for this. Oh, I did manage to get it in. Okay, so apparently these are the ones that I did come up with. You can see some of the similarities between that complex one and the complex one over here. They're very similar, and this basic one also feels like that complex one, and these ones, they're a little bit similar. But yeah, these are what I came up with. So apparently I did manage to put them in. Some of them, for some reason, the images just wouldn't load off my computer. So I had to delete them at the last minute. So yes, these are the Slammerons that the Dark Order will be getting. You'll notice that they do not get an ultimate, these are the Flotrons that they'll be getting. They don't get a ultimate Flotron because we're just sticking with these 3. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so those are the ones that I created. Now, moving on, we have Drifters. And to start us off, we have the Strike. Now, these ones are also super sci-fi, but in the ones I did, I took a lot of inspiration from these. They really feel like the original ones. However, they're very similar to... well, no, they feel like the original ones, but they also have that sci-fi feel to them with these extra things in them. I really, really like these. Definitely gets a gold from me. Next one, we have the Human from Prime. The Human from Prime. This one is very blocky. I like it a lot as well. Also bearing much resemblance. I actually thought this was a straight-up recolor. I actually had to go back and double-check to see what the original ones look like. There are differences. This is not a straight up recolor. I love that it feels more blocky. It takes up the space. Also looks very good. Drifters are probably the hardest modules to try to come up with, especially as you try to, it's more like an optimization. You're trying to fit like 3 different things stacked on top of each other in an interesting way. Very nice. Definitely got a gold. And the last one is by Derek from the Nova faction. This one has it's very similar. I mean, it's similar in that it reminds me of a drifter, but it definitely has its own style to it as well. Especially putting this in the middle, I really like it. Definitely gets a gold from me. And now we have mine, what I came up with. So you'll notice the Dark Order is already going for a dark theme. I'm not going to recolor any of the highlights. Those highlights are going to remain the same, so that throughout the game there's something consistent with Floatrons and Drifters always being the light blue. So you can easily spot them out. You can just look at their color instead of having to try to figure out their shape and stuff. So the light blue is definitely going to be the Floatrons and Drifters. This first one actually looks a lot like this one. It's just a couple minor tweaks. It's like a mix of this one and then this one. Yeah. This one they're both kind of a little bit different, but I definitely liked where was it? I definitely liked this one as well, and I tried to kind of put it in there. Well, it's kind of like an inverse. It's kind of similar, like I tried, but it's all very nice. Very nice work from everyone. Next, we're moving on to Slammerons, still sticking with the movement items here. We have from the Strike faction, again, our sci-fi theme, very lovely. Very different to the original ones, which I like. I'm definitely saving these ones, the super sci-fi ones, for a different faction that could come into the game in the future. Definitely going to be using them in the future. Next, we have from the Prime faction. This has got the same type of angled thing that I was really going for as well. It's got sharp lines. It's got it looks good. I do love how you changed it up from what it normally was, and you put that in there. Definitely gets a gold for me as well. Looks really nice. Last one is by Nova faction. This one has that shiny feel to it, also very angled. In fact, that might be the shape. These might be the shapes that I pretty much used exactly, just because the shapes are so similar to these. So looking at what so this definitely gets a gold. And what I came up with is this. And you can see that the one here on the left over here is pretty much, it's very, very similar. We're both going for the same idea. And I guess that's great. I mean, if we're all going for the same idea, that means we're all on the same page. We're all thinking of the same things, which is also good. So those are the Slammerons I came up with. They look very, very similar to the original ones, but they do have a little bit more sharper lines in them. I didn't want them to look too different, so that you don't have to try to remember all the different types of items. That could come in later in the game when things get more complicated. To start off, we're just going to keep things close to the originals. But very nice Slammerons from every faction. Right, moving now on to shields. These shields looked amazing. They looked absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, in my art, my style is I never really do this. I never really put two outlines beside each other. I will usually extend it up a little bit more, and it's just a personal preference. It's just a style I like. But this looks awesome. This looks really cool. Definitely still going for that sci-fi feel. Looks like a blood altar. I think something out of Terraria. You sacrifice something off this. Who knows? Maybe, no, we're not doing sacrifices. Next up, we have one by the Prime, also getting a gold. These look like traffic cones, but they're cute traffic cones, and they still remind me of a shield generator. Slightly remind me of a shield generator. If you told me that was a shield generator, it would be believable. Especially that last one bears a lot of similarity and resemblance to the ultimate one that we already have. Alright, so this gets a gold, and the next one is another ultimate shield generator. This one, it's similar, and I like it, but didn't get a gold. Well, you already have a gold here. Your faction got it, and so I'm just going to clump all of those kind of in the mix together. I do love the color choice here. It has a lava feel. I like that orange. I might actually steal that orange for weapons for the Dark Order. Right, now moving on to armor. We have this one, this one's pretty much a recolor. There's no extra details, there's no extra modifications to shape, even though the shading might be different. I haven't double checked, but it's pretty much the same thing. So moving on, these two they're a very interesting armor. Definitely could be used for a sci-fi feel. That's a colossal armor. This one could have been a normal armor. Definitely having a sci-fi feel for it. I do like it a lot, but unfortunately not exactly what I was going for. This one also it's just kind of a normal shield with the Dark Order icon plastered on it. So didn't quite get a gold here. Next one, these ones are absolutely amazing. Especially this last one here. I pretty much took this shape directly. The Dark Order are only going to get one type of shield. They're not going to get small, medium, large shield. Those are only for the players. Dark Order is just going to get a nice large shield. If they have a shield, it has a shield. Islands will either not have it. If they want small ones, they just won't have it at all. So I really, really like that shape of the shield. So that by itself. But all of these, they have nice shapes to them. It's slight modifications which still resemble a shield, which is very nice. Definitely gets my gold tier for that. Next one, we have a bunch of miscellaneous ones. These ones didn't quite fit into any of the categories. We'll still go through blocks and weapons, but these are more of your buildings. These are more of your extra things that I couldn't exactly put into a category. So first off, we have our reactors and batteries. These look really cool. I like the angled shapes. I might just take these types of shapes directly. But the reactor, there was another really good reactor that I saw in the chat. I think it's this one, yes. These reactors were also really nice. So they both get a gold. These batteries just look like recolors, but I can't exactly. This looks like a recolor very much. These look like drifters, so much so that might not, but these reactors look really nice. Actually, this is definitely not the default reactor, and these two are definitely not default. That might be, but I'm not sure. But these look awesome. These also look very cool. In fact, I think the dark theme came from seeing a bunch of dark ones, and I thought dark theme for the Dark Order makes a bunch of sense. We'll give each different enemy faction their own types of colors. The orange here also looks really interesting. I'm not exactly sure. For now, I think I'll keep them as purple, but it's definitely something to consider, maybe giving them all orange. But the orange is for the Strike Coalition, so I'm not sure how that would work as well. We'll just keep them with their normal colors then. But I love the change in design for every single one of them. This looks like flux capacitor plus reactor. Absolutely loving it. Gold tier for there. Next one, we have a warp. I think we've got two different types of warp cores. Not exactly what I was looking for. I mean, I wasn't exactly thinking of a warp core. Definitely inspired, maybe we should do warp cores. Maybe we should give them a different warp core. Interesting enough, but not enough to give a gold tier. And this art is also really interesting. It's a little bit blurred. You can't really see it, but I have an idea of what it's going for. It's kind of got this blue glow in the middle with red sparks coming off of it. Black-green color scheme is going to be there is going to be a faction with the black-green color scheme, like even darker than the Dark Order. It's like super black. Next up, we have these. These are spikes. And I love the floating spikes idea. This definitely gets a gold. If they get spikes, they're definitely getting these. These were awesome spikes. Maybe this one needs to be a little bit more floating, and this could cut down a little bit, but those are easy tweaks. Those look really nice. Strike Faction gets a gold for this one. Good job. What about the hitbox? It's okay. The hitbox can just be larger. Hitbox would just be a larger one, which is okay. Next, we have a dead tree. It's a very nice silhouette. But I'm not sure, and it could work, but it's just meh. We also have a chicken, which it's a chicken, and it's supposed to be a building, and it's supposed to do stuff, but no, I'm sorry. We have a pile of bones, which also looks really nice. It's supposed to be a replacement for the bush, but it's not exactly what. I'm not sure. It's meh. Campfire looks also pretty good, but not getting gold tier here. Dark Metal Tower definitely gave me some inspirations for some other things, which you'll see what I'm talking about in the future when things come out, when more items and enemy types come out. That's really good, but not quite more functional as I was thinking. Elephant Tusk Temple, really nice aesthetic, doesn't get a gold here. Does look pretty cool though. It does remind, that would be a cool shield generator. Just not having a base at all, just having these, that would be a cool shield generator. Dark Order Pennant, this one had more details on it. A massive pennant held up proudly by the company commander of a certain area. Other islands will defend the flag island if it's under attack. I like this. I really like that. And I probably want to put in flags, except these flags are probably going to be dynamic, as in they're going to like flutter in the wind and have like their own like shapes and stuff. But this is a really cool idea to have a Dark Order pennant, and islands can come to defend it, like the final boss. Nice. We also have the compass, which increases the minimum range needed to detect and attack the player's island. Not sure what this looks like a module of some sort. Um, and I think that these are not as important. I think that enemies should just have their default range, and then because I can always set that in the different settings, in the different enemy settings. So not really happening. Inhibitor is cool, except that enemies will probably just get a pseudo inhibitor. Hiding enemy islands from the minimap while they're outside a certain range, they'll probably get something like this. However, this one especially looks grossly like a finger sticking up in the air. It's like the island is giving you the finger. Could use a little bit of tweaks. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. I'm like, whoa, someone censor that. But yeah, it's a cool idea. I mean, we've had this idea hanging around in the server for forever. Next one, finally, we're getting to blocks. We are getting to blocks. Right, blocks. Oh, well, firstly, we start off with the Crimstone. It's a really cool block. I love the texture. I love the design. This one, I think this might be the first one to get 2 gold stars. Really, really cool. Sorry, excuse me. Right, really, really cool. Love it. Yeah, it looks like a good block. It looks like if an enemy had only this block, it would look really nice. When is the weapon? Weapons will be at the end because the weapons are the coolest, so I saved them for last. Dark Order block. This one is just, it looks like a block with the Dark Order icon stuck on it as well. Nothing quite special. An island full of these would be rather monotonous. So yeah, no gold here. Next one we have Voidstone, and I absolutely love the Voidstone. Name probably is going to change because that's not, I mean, Voidstone shouldn't be found this early in the game, but I do like the glowing red effect. The actual effects probably won't matter so much because the player won't be able to get these anyway. But I would love, enemies with these would look awesome. So 2 golds for that. Next we have Makeshift Plating, which this one also looks really cool. Closer up, it doesn't actually look as nice as I thought it would look. But when it's scrolled down, it looks really, really nice. I love the plating idea. I love the fact that actually we can start giving the Dark Order more synthetic blocks as well. Yeah, when it's zoomed out and a little bit smaller, it looks a lot better. So yeah, 2 golds for this one as well. Next one, we have the Ancient Aegeus. It's a colossal block that takes up 3x3 worth of space, high amount of health, mass durability, stops piercing damage, reduces incoming damage by 20%. Warp drive usually placed in the middle. The block itself is preferably used by bosses or really hard enemies or invaded enemies. With it technically being a single block, any modules that are inside the block will also be destroyed upon the destruction of this block. The reason we don't have any blocks that take up more than a 1x1 space because the tech to do that is going to require a massive game rework. If I do that, then we can start getting 2x2 and 3x3 and actual 4x4 items rotating around different blocks, but that's just way too complicated at this time. So we're not going to do colossal blocks at all. Colossal weapons are easy because they simply just block out the certain amount of space, but they're actually only attached to one block. If you destroy all 8 blocks around it and that block is still there, it will still be there. It will just extend outside of its thing, which looks a little funny, but I'm okay with that for now. Next thing we have is a vented block. This one looks a little bit cool. It's the chevron pattern isn't exactly flowing for me though. Rare to spawn on islands, reduces cooldown. Again, most of these effects probably won't happen at all because enemies should be super easy to understand. You shouldn't need to understand like, oh hey, this block on this enemy is going to do this for the island. It's just islands are made up of a single block. It's again to simplify things for the player and also to make things more varied over different islands. So yeah, rare to spawn, reduces cooldown, but it's a cool little design. Could be for sci-fi. Could be for the Void maybe if they eventually get into the game. Right. Next one is the Dark Light. I believe that's Dark Light. I think that, yeah, Dark Light. my light is kind of blocking my screen. Dark light, right. Saps light from around it. Any light that is close can never escape. Energy weapons do no damage to it. This is for the dark part of the Dark Order. Now, this is simple. There's no, like, extra boosts, extra buffs. It's simple. Energy weapons, don't touch it. It's completely immune to energy. Dark Knight, interesting. Yeah, completely immune to energy makes sense. Or even like 50%, or I don't know, massive immunity means that you need projectile weapons. Though this would be a really good late game block, as energy weapons are super powerful. I mean, a class where you have to think, oh hey, I shouldn't shoot you with energy, could be really interesting. This one gets 2 golds. Next one we have the Crimson Crystal, which apparently is a Crystal reskin, but I don't see the resemblance at all. It looks like a cool block, but I'm not sure that it's a nice block though, but not enough to get a gold tier. Next one is the Corrupted Obsidian, and I absolutely love this as well. This one looks like a block that would go really great if you put a bunch of them side by side together. And then you switch the rotations randomly. It looks really awesome. I think it could look like a really cool island. Just the obsidian for the enemies. So yeah, we've got 2 golds for this one as well. It's a repaint. Yes, I kind of see the repaint here. However, it's a repaint, but done very well. Moving on, we have Ancient Debris. This one looks a lot like a gravel block. It looks like definitely super, well, I was thinking more super low durability, super low health for this. Kind of like a cloud. Kind of like their version of a reinforced cloud. But definitely, it gets a gold tier from me. I like the texture as well. We have Bone Stone, which, as opposed to this texture, I'd much rather have this Ancient Debris than the Bone Stone. Their colors are very similar, though this one's a bit lighter. I think at this point I'd just rather turn this into like a reinforced cloud as well. Like both of these could be like reinforced clouds of some sort. Even though it's just a name change, but yeah, not enough to get a gold here. Next one we have Bound Metal. This would look really cool. To build an island completely out of this, you could get some bosses that have this. Just bosses just made entirely out of this, and you'd look like a really cool pattern going up and down. Equivalent of cobblestone to stone. Looks awesome. Good job. Gets a gold tier from me. Next one we have Silica. Silica, this is a really nice texture. I don't know why, but I like this a lot. Especially simple. Oh, well, actually, I put this here, I think. Like sand and still gets everywhere. If some people get that reference, I hope. So, right, we've got, it looks like it would be a really good early game block, or you could easily see it on early islands in the beginning of the game. Very nice. Next one, we have Bleached. It's supposed to be Dark Order leaves, but I'd rather give them like some sort of like brown leaves, like they're dead. Bleach, it's a cool texture. It's a slight cool texture. Reminds me a little bit of a cow. But I don't know why I said that. It's just slightly darker spots. Like I can just imagine like this is a picture like taken from the middle. Anyway, yeah, I didn't get a gold star. Next one we have Shards. This one was definitely really nice. I like this. It's got a, I don't know, like a popped up texture. Like there's plates bound somehow to this base plate. It looks super cool. I gave this one 2 tiers because of this. I keep saying stars. I might as well call them stars. 2 gold stars. I think you're in kindergarten again. 2 gold stars. Yeah, I like this one a lot. There is no 3 gold stars, even though I was about to give some of them 3 gold stars, but I just gave them 2 instead. Next one we have a Pulse, which is a colossal block that holds energy. Again, no colossal blocks, and also I am thinking of making every single enemy island not consume energy. The item itself might actually require it to consume energy, but enemies will have the behavior where they'll actually just ignore this, meaning energy is just for the player, and enemies control their energy, how much they're shooting manually, so that they're basically always stacked on maximum energy. That's how enemies are going to work, though I might give them reactors and other things that can blow up to make things a lot more fun. But it just won't do anything. it'll just blow up. Though shooting the reactors could be cool. Shooting the reactors is definitely awesome. Next one we have a dark metal block. This is an interesting texture. It's mostly the same color. Block made out of ancient debris, only crafted by the Dark Order. It's a little bit too plain without enough details. So yeah, I didn't give this one a gold. But it's a good attempt. Good attempt. Now, finally, what we've all been waiting for is we've all been waiting for weapons, and I shall quickly take a sip of my water. Right. Weapons. Weapons. This seems fast. Yeah, it's fast. However, it has already been half an hour. And there are a lot of weapons. There are a ton of weapons. So it might feel like I'm spitting through this, because I kind of am, but there are a lot of weapons. Yeah, and we're already half an hour in. This could have easily gone for like 2 hours if I was going slower. Yeah. So, weapons. First one up, we have the Dark Matter Cannon, and I absolutely love this one. A powerful cannon immunized with dark matter, consistent combination power of plasma and ion, ignore shield, pierce, and block. Require a lot of energies, long time reload, and low rotation. This one looks, most of the time the selling point is going to be the art. What I'm looking for mostly here is the art and the name. What it does so much, not so much. I very much like the art. The art is the selling point. Because the art helps me as well. Dark Matter Cannon looks awesome. Missiles. This missile, it's a little bit too plain. I like the idea. This looks a lot like the rocket that we were thinking of in the previous one. I believe in the previous one there was a rocket. Yes, in the previous suggestion challenge there was a rocket. This one looks a lot like it, and it's just a missile. Not quite sure. There's some better missiles though. Could have been better, yeah. But good try, good try. Next one we have the repeater crossbow. Now actually, I don't see the crossbow part of this at all. I just see 2 circles. However, with a couple modifications, I think if you cut it off here, it could be used. It could look pretty cool. And that art, I think actually it looks like it's firing to the left instead of to the right. Could be really nice. Yeah, so I gave that one a gold star because I'm not exactly sure how the repeater crossbow fits into it, but the art itself sold it for me. Next one we have the laser minigun. This one again, I think it needs some extra like flare up at the top or the bottom, or else it looks too flat. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Again, art's selling it for me. I don't even know what it does. You could just show me that, and I don't know what it does, but it looks cool. So you got a gold. Next one, we have a Colossal Turnian. Now, this one seemed awfully familiar, and I get that you started with the railgun, but the edit wasn't enough to take away the railgun part of it. I see the 1, 2, and 3. However, this part, it just doesn't feel enough like a Turnian. Or something that with 3 barrels. So I did not give this one. It looks cool, but I did not give this one a gold star just because it feels still too much like the colossal laser that we've already got. Next one we have a ballinizer. Shoots 10 energy-based slow-moving balls. I'm not exactly sure. And oh dear, I did not write the name or the faction of the person who created this. Let me quickly look up ballinizer. Who came up with the ballinizer? This is by Isaac from the Nova faction. And I apologize that I somehow missed this. So I'm not exactly sure. There were some empty spots here. I think with a little bit of work, this could be a lot better. And I definitely can. I can touch this up a little bit, and we can use this. But did not get a gold from me. Next one we have is the laser. It's a open mouth shooting a laser. Apparently, it's supposed to be a meme or a joke. Which I think I looked it up, but I've forgotten it, so I don't remember it anymore. But yeah, it shoots this laser. Didn't get a gold because I'm not sure that enemies should be having a face shooting a laser out of their mouth. Spread gun. This spread gun, it really doesn't fit the style of the game. It needs an outline. Giving it an outline would change so much. And for that, yeah, it didn't get a gold. Next one we have the Sky Anchor, a projectile that when it hits holds the affected island in place for a few seconds. definitely one of the things I do not want to CC the player, crowd control the player, or basically I don't want to stop the player, stun the player, prevent the player from moving. Knockback, it might be okay because it's easier to navigate through knockback, but hard CCing the player, I'm not a big fan of holding an island in place for a few seconds. That would be absolutely lethal. Not being able to move in a game like this. So yeah. Next one, we have plasma missiles. I really like this, though I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to do this. Because the real selling point of this, especially in the art-wise, is it's blue. And the blue makes it look like it's shooting, we're shooting blue stuff. I absolutely love the idea, though. I'm just not sure how I'm going to do it. So I gave this 2 gold stars because I am definitely going to figure out a way to try to get these plasma missiles. I'm thinking more energy balls. I could just make it red instead. It's a missile sprite with a blue head. I really, really like this for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. Shoots 12 volleys of plasma missiles, high damage spread, energy to shoot. Turns fast, low cooldown. Energy, mid HP, mid dodge, mid durability, mid damage, mid weight. So it's all around average. Next one we have is the battle cannon. This one looks really cool. However, it is way oversized. Like, we are talking what is this? This could be I don't know, this could take up your entire island right here. I think if it was shrunk down and made into more of the game style, it could definitely work. But right now, that's going to be really hard for me to do. If you go ahead and do that and then send it to me, or send it in feedback and suggestions or game artwork, that would be really awesome. Like this could just be a 1 pixel line instead of, I think that's like 3 or 4 pixels wide, which itself is like a fourth of a weapon. I think that's for scale. That's already 16 by 16, meaning this is going to take up. This is like at least 2 islands worth of stuff. That's a big cannon. So yeah, it's a little bit. It's way too big to be in the game. If you scale it down, send it to actually mega colossal weapons. I've noticed some of yours have been off. While yes, they take up a 48 by 48 space, their effective space is a 38 by 38. Those extra 10 pixels on the extra 5 pixels on either side need to be completely empty. So yeah, this one, it looks really cool, just not really in the style of the game or the size. Next, we have a coil gun, and I really, really like this coil gun. The only thing I had with it was these lines right here do not fit in the game style at all, and I really had no idea how to fix this. Honestly, I made a coil gun myself. I drew a coil gun. It doesn't really look similar. It has the idea that you have the shaft with the coils going around it, but I did manage to get it. I think you'll like it, but it doesn't look very similar at all. But it did give me the inspiration, so I'm giving you 2 gold tiers for this one. And I made a double one too. I made this double because the double one also looks cool. Next, we have a needler. Okay, so we have the needler, which is a small cannon shooting needle projectiles, dealing bonus damage, which I gave 2 gold stars because it looks really cute. Again, that little 2 thing there, I easily fixed by just making one of them longer, and then having so it's basically we don't want 2 outlines like super close together for long lines. And we also have the twin needler, which I also made a twin needler. It's a needler, but someone duct taped the second one on top to save space. Bonus damage to hard targets, fires 2 parallel projectiles at once. Tri-needler, some maniac in the R&D department of the Dark Order managed to assemble this monstrosity, increasing the damage of all involved weapons in the process. Deals bonus damage if fires 3 parallel projectiles at once. Then we have the quad needler. The maniac has gone mad with power. He's gone and duct taped 4 needlers together. Someone get the final boss to stop him. We're running out of duct tape to fix other more important things. This is the Dark Order R&D department overseer. Apparently, duct tape makes weapons attached together stronger. Deals bonus damage to hard targets and less to soft targets. Now fires 4 parallel projectiles at once. And yeah, so we've got the normal needler, the twin needler, and the tri-needler, and then the quad needler. I gave the needler 2 stars because it's a really cool weapon. I think it's a very cool weapon for scout islands. That could be really interesting. And with the quad needler, things got even crazier with the cluster mini cannon. You thought 4 was a lot. This is 7 mini cannons duct taped together. Okay, who let the maniac back into the R&D department? It's literally just 7 mini cannons duct taped together. Yeah, no, it's a this could be a really fun player weapon, like exotic, just for fun. Like exotic weapons can be classy as well. Like 7 mini cannons. It could be a very good Gatling gun as well, like in that type of class of weapon. Next one we have is the Dark Crystalling, which is just a recolor, and I don't even see the recolor. We have the Dark Crystal, which is recolor. I think just the reds are recolored. We also have the Dark Crystal, which is a recolor. We've got the Knife Cannon, which looks very cool, and you sent me the projectiles for them, so I went ahead and made it look like it was shooting. Fires giant knives, really fast cooldown, rotation speed, low damage. I do like the idea of the Knife Cannon. It's just an enemy that just shoots knives. Next one we have, oh yeah, so this one did get a gold star. I liked it. Stabby Stab is Stabby Stab, yeah. Lancer, we have the shot over here. Remember the test laser you used before the colossal railgun? Reuse that sprite for the bullet, but make it bigger. Basically fires a massive laser bolt like the current laser dual laser. This will be the weapon you mentioned that one-shots all blocks. If it hits a shield, might as well do 15 shield damage. My biggest issue is that sprite right there, the image. It looks more like a ramming weapon than an energy weapon. It needs more of a nozzle, more of something like actually looks like it's got an emitter. It looks more like a spike right now, like a really really fancy spike. Yeah, so that's why I didn't give this a gold. Next one we have is the minigun, and out of every single submission, the minigun was by far my favorite. When I saw the minigun, I went ahead and I imported it over onto my Mac, and I began playing with it, and it was absolutely fun to work with. The minigun, I will tell you, will be coming to a boss in the game. It will definitely be coming to the boss in the game because it is so cool. It might even be used for invaders in the later realms as well. That minigun is my favorite. Out of every submission, this is my favorite item, by far. My favorite. 2 stars. This is the one that I was almost going to give 3. But, we'll give it 2. But the minigun is definitely coming to the game. Absolutely love it. Next we have is a cannon. This looks very similar to the shaft gun, spread gun that we already have. Sorry, not shaft gun. That's a different game. Dark Order's cannon, not quite unique enough. So yeah, it did not get a gold star. Siege Cannon, this was another one that looked really cool. The Siege Cannon and the Dual Siege Cannon were awesome. It would have gotten 2 stars if I could figure out how I was going to work it. The main thing is just this barrel doesn't look like it's completely connected to anything. It needs more of put some outlines around the edge. I'm not exactly sure. But in my opinion, as I was playing with some weapon designs, simply putting a barrel on top of everything didn't feel completely right. Yeah. Yeah, but I gave this a gold star for both of these as well, since they're fairly similar, as well. Next we have is the blunderbuss, and actually we have 3 blunderbusses, and blunderbuss is spelled with 2 S's for those of you who are wondering. We have this blunderbuss, which looks awfully lot like the dual shotgun. Then we also have this blunderbuss, which is simply a recolor of this blunderbuss. And this blunderbuss is my favorite, and I gave this 2 gold stars. It looks like it has a mortar feel, but also has this giant cannon. It's like the mix of a mortar, a cannon, and a mega cannon, and I love it. Yeah, shoots Turnian for the Dark Order, and shoots lots of projectiles. I definitely like it. Do I play Destiny 2? I have played Destiny 2 in the past. However, I played it for like a month, and then I stop playing it. I like this blunderbuss the best out of all of these, mainly because it's unique and it's not like a shotgun. This looks too much like it looks like a shotgun plus a shield generator. Like, kind of see that. Anyway, I guess at some point we'll run out of different pixel combinations, but at this point we're not quite there yet. As you can see, we can still come up with a blunderbuss. Next one we have is the High Arbiter. Now this one was really fun to work with because it's not really in the game style at all. The way the weapon is shaped doesn't feel like the game, and so I tried making it in the shape of the game, and it didn't feel the same at all. There's just something about this weapon that's really cool and unique. I really couldn't replicate it at all. Like, I copied it over, and I tried modifying it. It's like, make it fit the game style, but it didn't work. And this looks so cool as it is. Definitely long range artillery. I like it. I gave this one 2 stars. This is my second favorite weapon out of everything. But mainly because it was so much fun to play around with and to work with. I did try playing around with some of these. The details are really cool. Next one we have, so good job, Tsume. I hope I'm saying your name right. Next one we have the Cosmic Shower, which also looks really awesome. I think once we started getting into the colossal weapons territory, like, hey, yeah, we could just open things up and Cosmic Shower, bam. I love the design and placement of all of these. The color, not so much, but I think just replacing them with an outline, and then a darker color could look really cool. I love this Cosmic Shower. I think this one could look really good, especially not rotating at all, but just firing and shooting up into the air. Would make a really interesting boss as you try to dodge. I mean, it's dodgeable, and it's not, but they would be lethal. If you miss, you die. We also have a Hurricane. Now, this Hurricane, I like the idea. I like what it was going for, but there's something wrong about it. I'm not sure what it is. It does look like a squid, as was mentioned. But if you like tilt your head, it looks like a person with really long arms. Yeah, I think maybe reversed. If you reversed the weapon and made it shoot out of the left instead of the right, that might have a different effect as well. Yeah, you can't unsee the person with long arms now. Yeah, I don't know. It needs like, I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm not sure. There's something. Yeah, it's a good design though. It's a great attempt. Don't know why. Next, we have the Bitron. Quickly shoots 2 bullets. This is a cute weapon that could also accompany with the Needlers. You have Bitrons and Needlers. Love the cute name. Just not enough to give it a gold star. But good idea. Downward Destruction. Massive cannon shield-piercing laser beam is an attachable mounted to the sides of islands. Only the base needs to be connected because you can't connect a floating barrel. Always pointed downwards, will probably be seen on high-level bombers who wanted some extra downward protection, because mortars shoot up, not down. Downward Destruction. I think that if anything, these would make some really cool, mining equipment. For example, if you get mining, you go into a region and it's a Dark Order mining outpost, and you have these big islands, and you've already got like little minor islands with these giant cannons like mining downwards into like environmental islands. That could be really fun. That could be fun to play with. Next, we have a Solar Flare. It's a reskin rename for the Colossal Railgun. Colossal Missile. This was really cool. Gave this 2 stars because nukes. I can imagine a boss just shooting a nuke that you can, shoot down and it blows up. But the idea would be you can't dodge it. You have to shoot the nuke. If you don't shoot the nuke, you die. Or you come very close to dying. Maybe you can take a couple of hits. Nuke would probably insta-wipe your shields on the first time it hits. This would be awesome. I'm thinking, at least my idea is we give every boss, each of the 9 or 8 before the final boss, we give each of them, or actually 9, because of my ideas with the final boss, we give each of them their own weapon that they use, meaning that, actually I'm thinking of each realm has 3 different bosses with 3 different weapons, meaning that as you go on your run, you get a combination of bosses that, you won't get it any other way. You might have a really hard boss this time, or in relation to other ones, this might be your favorite, because it's the easiest, you know how to beat it. But then in the next run, in round 1, you might get a harder boss. So that's what I'm thinking, but it would be a lot of work, and giving each boss their own weapon would be so cool. But they would have the main idea. I think having a boss every realm would be awesome, instead of every 3 realms. Ultra Railgun. Now this one looks like the Railgun. I can tell that the starting place was a Railgun. However, unlike the one previously, this one has enough changes to it to make it feel awesome. Like, this is something that you see a laser pointer, like, charge up, and then bam, this is this actually could easily just completely replace the Colossal Railgun. Like, I am all for deleting my Colossal Railgun image and just using this. Tweak it up a little, but yeah, that's how good this is. Pew pew like a boss. Joe Wiggs wrote this, yes, because it didn't have a description, so I wrote one for you. Absolutely love this one. Next, we have a Hailstorm. This one, I can kind of see where it was going. However, it feels like it should be shooting. It feels like it's shooting downward rather than upward. The other one, which one was it? This one looks a lot more like a mortar weapon, shooting upward. This one that we've got, not so much. I do see the holes to shoot the upwards, but I'm just not feeling this weapon at all. It looks like it could easily be flipped around upside down and turned into just a bomb that gets dropped. Like, you have I don't know, motherland coming in, and then you have to stop the invasion because the motherland is just like dropping bombs on friendly islands. So there, motherland, you've got like, motherland like regionally and geographically, but then you've also got like the motherland like mothership, except it's an island, but never mind, I'll just stop explaining it. I think you'll catch on. I think you guys will catch on to that. Motherland. Anyway, now we have the floatador. Similarly to how it is right now in the April Fool's update, it fires down and then comes up. Really light because it contains Flotron cores. Flotron cores, the sorts of thrust in a Flotron type module. Not quite feeling it. This could be, I don't know, this could be really, it could be gimmicky, but also really interesting to play with. Especially, it's like a, whoa, and now I have to dodge from the bottom. It could be really interesting to play with, but not completely feeling it yet. So yeah, sorry. Next one we have the Colossal Laser. This one's just way too plain. It needs a little bit more, like, it looks like a giant laser pointer, which it's not supposed to feel like a laser pointer. It's supposed to be powerful. Next we have Exterminator missiles. Now, the effort it took to put this many missiles, how many is this? That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to count it later. That's a lot of missiles. This one, getting a boss with this, just one of it would be scary. Like, oh my goodness, you want to stay well aware of those. This would be a fun weapon to play with. Chris Storm, also another great boss weapon. I like how you took the crystal weapons and you still have that same feel of the 3 prongs up here, but it still feels like its own thing as well. I do love this one. I like the idea. It breaks into normal size secondary projectiles. So we have a massive crystal projectile, which breaks into secondary projectiles, which breaks into tertiary projectiles. And I'm actually working on the tech. I am still waiting for this Game Maker update. Honestly, the game will move forward technically so much with this Game Maker update. It could take me a full month. And I'm kind of hoping that because of some of the changes I want to do with items, I'm really, really hoping that this Game Maker update comes sooner rather than later, because it's kind of preventing me from making some fundamental changes to the internal tech. But anyway, I love this Chris Storm. Love the name too, the Chris Storm, because it's absolutely amazing. Next we have the Mortar Chonk, and you gave me projectiles, massive projectiles, so I went ahead and used it. I gave you 2 stars because this one looks really cool. It's a giant mortar, giant cannonballs. I mean, it's awesome. This one's awesome. It's a good mortar. And it's hard to draw mortars big. I've tried. It doesn't. It's something always. This looks pretty good. Good job. Next, we have the Smoker. The Smoker is really interesting. That would require quite a bit of fundamental changes. But I do like the idea. It's a cloud. Whatever basically hits the cloud. If it hits a cloud, it always misses its next. It always misses. So it instantly gets a dodge on whatever it hits next. Or whatever just hits in general, which I like the idea. Again, I need to wait for these Game Maker changes to come through. I'm literally every day I'm checking the patch notes and like trying to search like when is it coming, because they said Q1 2020, and I'm still waiting. I'm waiting. Anyway, yeah. Dark Meta Drill. I don't think that's supposed to say meta. Did that say meta? I don't believe it did. I might have just mistyped this. Oh, that's supposed to be dark metal. Oh, it does say metal. Oh, my camera, my light stand is just blocking the L part of it, so I didn't actually see what it was talking about. Better than spikes, but costs energy. It's cool. It's a nice idea, but I'm not sure anything can get better than spikes other than doing even more damage. They're already at 100% durability. They could deal more damage if you activate them. That could be an interesting mechanic to play with. But I did give you a gold star. Next one is a dark metal hook. Again, stuns the player in place with the cost of energy. I'm not a big fan of player stuns, as I said earlier, or player slowdowns, or messing with the player's movement. I think the player's movement needs to be one thing that we just don't touch. You can touch all its blocks, you can touch it. I mean, the player's movement's already going to be so impaired just by shooting off its Flotrons, so might as well not touch it anymore. And that brings us to the end. So, well, before I go to the next challenge, I've counted this previously, and we have the prime. I should have made some slides for this. Anyway, I'll just tell you. Go full camera here. Right. So the prime got 22 gold stars in total. The strike got 21 gold stars. And the Nova got 18 gold stars. So all in all, this was a really, really close competition. There were a lot of good ideas from a lot of people. Very nice. So what that translates to is the Prime is going to get 11 epic weapons. The Strike is going to get 10 epic weapons plus a rare weapon. And the Nova is going to get 18 epic weapons. So very good job from everyone. The next challenge, right, time to announce the next challenge. So I haven't added your previous rewards. I'll be adding all of your rewards for the past 2 challenges plus this one into your faction inventories. For the next challenge, we are actually going to be taking a break from these challenges. Mainly because I'm not exactly sure. Mainly because you're already racking up a lot of items. We can take a week or two to slow things down, and do some other stuff with your factions instead of just having challenges. So these next challenges won't exactly be challenges. There won't be any live streams either, mainly because I want to put more time into focusing on the enemies update. The items and the enemies are going to require a lot of time, and preparing for these live streams does take time as well. It takes time out of my day, it takes some energy. So there aren't going to be any faction challenges for the next couple of weeks. They will come back, and then we will have our faction war we'll have our faction war in, a month and a half or so. That's my estimated timeline, though. That could change. Right, so these are more going to be, we're going to really be working over the next few weeks to build your faction identities. So these are going to be more of building your faction and what exactly is your faction. Won't be competing against your other factions, but it would be really great. It's really great to participate in as well. Right, so what are some of the things that are going to be coming up? This is not a full comprehensive list. This is just some of the things that I thought of. We've got purpose, motive, and vision. What does your faction like to do? What's your goal? Location names. What are some of your faction cities? Research outposts, research bases, farms. What are some of the location names? Origins and history. How did your faction start? What are the interactions with the other factions in the past? Government and politics. How's your faction run? Are you a democracy? Are you a tyranny? Are you militaristic? And then we're going to have a day in the life, which is basically short story writing, where you write a short story about a day in the life of someone from your faction, an ordinary person from your faction. So this is going to be a lot of lore that I am giving you all the creative reins to do. For some of these, you will probably have to work with the other factions in order to come across with them. So first one we're going to be doing is purpose and motive. Why does your faction need to establish its dominance in Illa, and how does it go about doing it? This one you can mostly work in by yourself. You don't exactly need to use or refer to the other factions about this. So your faction, for example, is your faction trying to conquer land? Is your faction all about upholding peace? Or is your faction all about trying to research the next thing? Like researching with different things. So why does your faction need to establish its dominance, and how does it going about doing it? So that's the first question. That's the first main question that can help you. Second question is, what are the things your faction values the most? These are like, for example, does a faction value resources? Does it value people? Does it value technology? Does it value space? Does it value buildings and aesthetics? Does it value weapons? Lots of different ways you can go about this. I will be opening your respective faction submissions up. Also, go ahead and talk about it. I mean, you can all submit things, but I believe that most of you will eventually come to a general consensus. And the idea of these factions is you already have most of an idea, especially with the people in your faction. You have an idea of what you want to do with your faction, I believe. Nova, for what I'm getting from it is Prime tends to like peace, prosperity, progress. They tend to be the peacekeepers. This is just my interpretation. You can take this, you can modify it, you can explore it even further. Strike tend to want to shoot things fast, and Nova also tend to want to blow things up, but they're more concerned with research. At least that's in my head. That's how these three factions are kind of like set up. But yeah, feel free to explore with this. Feel free to take your own creative twists on it. I will be announcing each one. I might do like a 10-minute live stream at the beginning of each, at the beginning of the next challenge, so I can further explain and further give you handles on how to get this creative lore going. Right, so that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I just noticed you haven't been able to see my slides. Hold up. Oh well, I will send these. I've been like going through my slides thinking you're gonna be able to see them, but I switched my slides. Right. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. I hope you do enjoy yourselves with these next, more like not challenges, more like faction events happening in the next coming weeks, and really get to explore the more lore side of things, and really build your factions up. All right, that's it for me. I will see you all. Well, I'm not exactly sure when I'll see you. I'll see you all in a couple of weeks, but I'll try to do these short live streams, like 5 to 10 minutes, talking about the different aspects, like how to name faction cities. I'll be doing my research beforehand, sending out links as well. So maybe that could be helpful. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Turn this off somehow. Get my music. Something's happening. Right. Here, we're done now.
Let it go. You've got one life to live, don't let it go. You've got one life to live, don't let